Hi, this is Davide, and this is the Banlist prediction. So let's fix dual links. First of all, what is a banlist? A banlist is the way of balancing a card game by limiting the usage of a certain card, therefore weakening a certain strategy or deck by removing unfair interactions or similar to that. Now, think of the banlist as that one test in uni that you think you smashed. You can't wait to have the result back because you know you've done well, but once you get it back, you've barely passed. You made so many easy errors that could have been avoided, and you want to redo it, but you need to wait 3 months for it. Now, there are some harsh truths to be revealed. Ban lists aren't meant for best of 3. Konami just doesn't care about it, and probably never will. So think of this as a KC-centered ban list, and always remember that you can have a very healthy best of 3 format and a very bad KC one, and vice versa. But Konami's job is to fix the KC one. Now, our current format is fairly good for best of 3. We have a fairly diverse and healthy format, but this doesn't translate to a good KC format as there is so much variance that simply it is impossible to reach really high amount of DPs, which is why the threshold for top 100 is getting lower and lower every KC. Now, let's start with the actual hits that I'm proposing. For limit ones, I have Gandora the Dragon of Destruction. This is mainly to cut off Monster Reborn. It cuts off some of the edge in power that the deck has, and in my opinion it shouldn't have, because sometimes you just draw Monster Reborn and you kill your opponent through 3 back rows, which is fine, but you would want to do it with Engine and not with an unsearchable one-off. Also, it hits Melody, I guess, so those 25 card lists with Melody will be hit as well, but fine. Now, for limit use, I have Kagemucha Knight and Steelsworm Roach. I know people wanted boots to be limited, but in my opinion, it's much harsher than it should be, because it makes double boots hand just unplayable at that point. And limiting Kagemucha Knight, in my opinion, is pretty interesting, because it limits the amount of choice that the player has. Because at that point, the PK player has to be like, either I want consistency, and I'm playing the Kagemucha, or I want the Saki cards, so I want my Maiko and my Trash. And they have the choice between that. Do they go 1-1? Do they go 0-2? Do they go 2-0? You know, it's something that, in my opinion, opens up deck building for PK, which is a deck that has been pretty much solved ever since it came out. And I think a hit like that would be interesting. In general, PK isn't that oppressive of a deck to deserve to just completely get destroyed by something like Butsu-2, because Butsu-2 again makes some hands really just unplayable, while Kagemucha 2 it really doesn't. As for Steelsworm Roach, it's sort of an harpy hit that would phase it off of the meta currently, because it makes it choose between Swallow's Nest and itself, inevitably making the back row or the Gandora / DDD matchup worse, because at that point you either have Swallow's Nest for the back row or you have Roach for the Gandoras. So it makes Harpy slightly worse in this context, which in my opinion is needed. Harpy has been a thing for so long, but it doesn't make Harpy worse by itself. It still does the same things. For limit freeze, I have Winda and White Princess, and these two are pretty much self-explanatory. Winda, fuck that deck. It didn't even do that well, but honestly, who likes that? And White Princess is just who thought releasing this was a good idea? Now, random unlimits that everyone always likes. Kokimero Maximus, Genex Controller, Shiranui Saga, Fusion Reserve, and War Legacy Clash. Now, this one will probably never happen, because it does essentially raise the skill ceiling of the game and changes which back row scene is viable, but it's a little bit unfair, not because of the banish effect, which is what I would want it back for, but because the stats reduction is permanent, which is what the fuck. Like, we've seen Wall of D being a problem. It's not right now, but World Legacy Clash will probably still be a problem, because sometimes you just get sacked by it. So yeah, maybe not. Fusion Reserve was it because of Alistair. Alistair isn't even that good right now, and Fusion Reserve is a slow trap that does pretty much nothing but hurting the Alistair. So I don't know. I think it's fine. Shiranui Saga, Shiranui players aren't even running this, so let that sink in. Controller is whatever. It's a normal monster. Come on, he doesn't even make Ristana that good. And Maximus is funny, but we keep in mind we have basically Kokimero at full power. It's doing absolutely nothing. I think it would be fine. It will probably make for like a stupid card back in the game, but come on, it's Kokimero. Like, what is it gonna do? And that's pretty much it. Thank you for following the video. Please hit the subscribe button if you want to. And if you don't want to, don't know what you're doing here, so just get out. Lama!